You are a top-tier CIA field agent, but in this dark Tel Aviv alleyway, your diplomatic immunity is nothing more than a scrap of waste paper. Your earpiece is dead, nothing but static. Your backup has been cut off, and every exit is being systematically blocked. Suddenly, the pager in your pocket vibrates, the same pager you were told was a safe device, but you remember all too well how thousands of these exploded simultaneously on the streets of Lebanon. Mossad's deadliest zone is closing in around you. That drone hovering overhead isn't just tracking your location, it's analyzing every biometric detail of your face. They know exactly why you're here, to leak a top-secret nuclear file. In this city, every wall has ears, every CCTV camera is a sniper's eye, and every stranger passing by is a potential Mossad assassin. You are trapped in a deep-state web where escape is a myth. Remember how they took out Fakhrizadeh, a machine gun operated via satellite from 1,000 miles away, and you're standing right in their backyard. You're a U.S. agent trapped in Mossad's deadliest zone, a place where enemies aren't just found, they are eliminated. Can you survive the next 10 minutes in this death trap, or will your name be added to the Mossad blacklist from which no one has ever returned? Your survival starts now. You reach for the heavy iron handle of your safe house door, but your hand freezes mid-air. The corridor is dead silent. The faint hum of the building's central AC has suddenly cut out, leaving a heavy, suffocating heat in its place. Your mind flashes back to the guest house in Tehran, how the air conditioning failing was the final signal before Ismail Haniyeh's room turned into a ball of fire. You don't open the door. You can't. You pivot and vanish back into the concrete shadows of the hallway. As you step out onto the sun-drenched streets of Tel Aviv, your HUD glasses flicker. A tiny, pulsating red square appears in the corner of your peripheral vision. It's a drone, no larger than a desert bird, hovering 200 feet above the skyline. This isn't just surveillance, it's the silent eye technology. It's the same cold digital stare that tracked Mahmoud al-Mabhouh through every corridor of the Al Bustan Rotana in Dubai, recording his every breath before the poison was delivered. You try to blend into the midday rush of the Sarona market, but you feel the biometric scanners hidden inside the smart streetlights pinging your location every 3 seconds. Every CCTV camera on this block isn't just a lens, it's a digital sniper's nest. You remember the 1967 Six-Day War, how Mossad knew the exact coordinates of every single Egyptian airfield, every hangar, and every pilot's schedule before the first Israeli jet even took off. They don't guess in this city. They calculate. You duck into a crowded sidewalk cafe, hoping the thermal signatures of 100 tourists will mask your own. You sit at a back table, heart hammering against your ribs. But then, you see him, a man at the corner table, dressed like a simple technician. He isn't looking at you, but sitting next to his coffee is a clunky Japanese brand walkie-talkie. It's the exact same model Mossad spent 10 years rigging with micro-explosives before selling them through shell companies to Hezbollah. You realize with a jolt of terror that the safe zone was a trap from the start. You aren't just an agent on the run, you are a moving component inside a giant city-sized detonator, and Mossad has had their finger on the button since the moment you landed. You leave the cafe, your heart pounding like a drum, and duck into a narrow alleyway lined with ancient eucalyptus trees. For a split second, you feel a sense of relief in the shade until you remember the story of Eli Cohen. You realize these trees aren't just for shade, they are the markers Cohen once suggested to Syrian generals to protect their soldiers from the sun, only to use them as perfect targeting beacons for Israeli jets. Every leaf above you feels like a green crosshair painted on your back. You pull out your encrypted satellite phone to call Langley, but the screen flickers and stays black. No signal. You realize Mossad has probably done to you what they did to the Iranian government systems in 2006. They haven't just blocked you, they've hacked the very fabric of your communication. You are standing in the middle of Tel Aviv, the tech capital of the world, and you are digitally blind. A silver SUV skids around the corner, its tires screeching against the asphalt. It's a Mitsubishi Pajero. Your blood turns to ice. This is the same model Imad Mughniya, the ghost, thought was his fortress in Damascus. He spent 20 years avoiding every intelligence agency on Earth only for a spare tire cover to turn into a shaped charge explosive. You watch the SUV pass, your eyes fixed on its rear tire, half expecting the world to erupt in a fireball of glass and steel. You try to change your appearance, pulling a reversible jacket from your bag and slipping on a pair of thick-rimmed glasses. It's a classic tradecraft move, but you know it's useless here. In Dubai, Mossad agents used wigs, tennis rackets, and fake mustaches to blend in, but they were still caught because they forgot about the silent eyes, the 24/7 digital footprint. You aren't just fighting men in suits, you are fighting an algorithm that has already memorized your gait, your height, and the way you tilt your head when you're nervous. You see a group of soldiers walking toward you, laughing and talking in Hebrew. They look like teenagers on a break, but you know better. Some of the deadliest Mossad operatives don't wear tactical gear. They look like students, tourists, or tech developers. You remember how they fooled the world for a decade by selling 16,000 rigged walkie-talkies through shell companies in Budapest. In this city, the person selling you a falafel could be the one who just authorized your termination. You realize the walls are closing in. You aren't just a U.S. agent anymore. You are a ghost, and Mossad is the world's most elite exorcist. You break into a cold sweat as you realize your reversible jacket and glasses are child's play against an agency that tracked Mohsin Fakhrizadeh with a satellite-linked robot. You duck into a crowded electronics mall, hoping the sheer volume of signals will drown out your own. But as you pass a wall of televisions, every screen flickers. For a split second, they all show the same grainy, washed-out photo, the only one the world had of Imad Mughniya for 2 decades. It's a message. Mossad is telling you that even the most invisible man on Earth eventually becomes a target. You reach into your pocket to discard your secure American phone, but your fingers brush against the cold plastic of the pager again. You remember the project pager from Budapest, how Mossad set up a shell company to manufacture thousands of beepers, specifically designed to maim rather than kill, just to cripple an entire army in a single afternoon. You realize that in this deadliest zone, every piece of technology you carry is a potential IED. If they could rig 16,000 walkie-talkies and wait 10 years to detonate them, they've already planned your ending months before you even bought your flight ticket. You try to move toward the back exit, but a group of young men in civilian clothes blocks the path. They aren't carrying weapons, but they are holding tablets, their eyes darting between the screens and your face. This is the new age of Mossad tradecraft, the same digital precision they used to hack into the Iranian government servers to find Mughniya's assumed name in Damascus. They aren't looking for a man, they're looking for a data point, and you are glowing red on their map. You remember the 2010 Dubai operation, where Mossad agents used the identities of real people who had no idea their passports were being borrowed. You look at the person next to you, a tourist from Australia, and wonder if his identity is already being used by an operative standing 10 feet behind you. In this deadliest zone, the person you think is your escape route might actually be the one holding the needle. A high-pitched tone suddenly rings out from the mole's intercom system. It's a specific frequency, the same compelling ringtone Mossad tested for months to ensure their targets would pick up their pagers right before the blast. Your heart stops. You realize you aren't just trapped in a building, you are trapped in an experiment. Mossad isn't just watching you, they are directing you, like the actors in a screenplay where the ending has already been written in blood. You stumble out of the electronics mall, your ears ringing from that high-pitched intercom tone. You feel like a rat in a maze, but then you remember what a Mossad official once said. We are the directors, we are the producers, and the world is our stage. You realize you aren't just running, you're performing a role they've already scripted for you. Every turn you take, every alley you choose, has been suggested by the way they've blocked the other streets. They aren't chasing you, they are herding you toward a kill box, just like they did with Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in that Dubai hotel room. You see a black van parked at the curb, its side door slightly ajar. Your mind flashes to the 1960 abduction of Adolf Eichmann in Argentina. How Mossad agents waited in the dark, snatching the architect of the Holocaust right off a quiet street without the local government even noticing he was gone. You give the van a wide berth, but as you pass, you notice a technician tinkering with a fiber optic cable box on the wall. He looks ordinary, but his hands are steady, disciplined. You recall the Project Diamond operation, where Mossad spent years honey-trapping a single pilot just to steal one Soviet MiG-21. If they have the patience to wait years for a jet, they have the patience to wait an hour for you. Suddenly, your HUD glasses display a warning, external signal override. A video clip starts playing involuntarily in the corner of your lens. It's the 2004 Lebanon propaganda film, the one where the ghost Imad Mughniya was accidentally caught on camera, standing next to Nasrallah. It's a taunt. Mossad is reminding you that even the most careful ghosts make one mistake, and they only need one. You realize your mistake was thinking your American encryption was superior to an agency that hacked the Iranian government's most secure servers to find a single assumed name in Damascus. You duck into a narrow corridor, but the air feels different here, heavy and metallic. You see a row of specialized lockers, the kind used by couriers. You remember the Project Pager from Budapest, how Mossad set up an entire fake manufacturing line to build rugged, durable beepers that were actually handheld bombs. You look at the digital keypad on the locker next to you. It's the same secure hardware you've seen in every CIA safe house. Your stomach twists. You realize that Mossad doesn't just hack technology, they build it. The very tools you were trained to trust might have been manufactured in an Israeli-run shell company in Europe. You dash into the sterile lobby of a high-tech office building, hoping the glass and steel will offer some refuge. But as the automatic doors slide shut, you remember the mastermind of the 10/7 attacks, Ismail Haniyeh, and how he thought he was safe in a heavily guarded IRGC guest house in Tehran. Mossad didn't need to storm the building. They had already smuggled the package inside, weeks, maybe months before he even arrived. You look at the sleek modern furniture around you and wonder if the very chair you're leaning on is part of a long-term placement mission. In this city, the furniture has eyes, and the walls are programmed to explode. Your HUD glasses suddenly glitch, and a map of Damascus from 2008 flickers into view. It's the floor plan of the Syrian intelligence headquarters, the exact building Imad Mughniya left right before his SUV turned into a crater. It's a psychological play, a reminder that Mossad doesn't just kill, they exorcise ghosts who think they are untouchable. You realize they aren't just tracking you with GPS, they are using social media manipulation tactics, the same ones they use to flood Arab networks with fake news about cell phone hacking, to force Hezbollah into buying those rigged pagers. They've been nudging your decisions for the last hour, leading you exactly where they want you to go. You see a woman in a business suit standing by the elevator, checking her watch. She looks like a high-powered executive, but you notice the way she stands, balanced, ready. You recall the Project Pager architect, a female Mossad agent who had the bright idea to turn everyday communication into handheld bombs. In the Deadliest zone, gender and age are just costumes. You remember the 2010 Dubai hit squad. They posed as tennis players and tourists, one even changing from bald to a head of luxurious hair in a single bathroom break. The woman by the elevator catches your eye and gives a small, knowing smile. Your blood runs cold. She isn't a bystander, she's the producer of your final scene. You back away from the elevator and head for the stairs, but the air in the stairwell feels heavy with the scent of ozone. You think of the 1981 Operation Opera, where Israeli jets flew hundreds of miles in total radio silence to take out a nuclear reactor. That same silent strike philosophy is happening right here, right now. They aren't using loud sirens or flashing lights. They are using tradecraft secrets that aren't even that sophisticated, yet they work every single time. You realize your American training taught you to look for the big threat, but Mossad specializes in the tiny surprise, the microchip in the battery, the chemical in the drink, the satellite link in the truck. As you reach the landing, a message finally breaks through the static on your earpiece. It's not Langley, it's a voice in Hebrew, calm and steady. The 33rd time is the charm. You freeze. That was the exact number of times Mossad waited for Mughniya to be alone before detonating the charge. They've been counting your close calls all day. You realize you haven't been escaping, you've just been granted 32 reprieves, and as you reach the exit door, you know that number 33 is waiting on the other side. You push through the stairwell door and find yourself on a sun-scorched rooftop. Your HUD immediately starts screaming. A digital overlay maps the surrounding skyscrapers, highlighting a dozen dead angles. You remember the 2020 assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Mossad didn't even need a human sniper on the scene. They used a machine gun synced to a satellite, fired from 1,000 miles away with AI precision. You realize the empty windows staring at you aren't empty. They are the eyes of a robotic executioner. You dive behind a heavy steel ventilation unit, but the metallic scent and ozone is even stronger here. It's the smell of high-voltage disruption. You realize Mossad hasn't just cut your signal, they've created a digital black hole around this entire block, the same way they blinded the Iranian radar during Operation Opera. You try to check your backup GPS, but the coordinates are spinning wildly. They are spoofing your reality, making you move exactly where their invisible crosshairs are already waiting. A small commercial drone drifts into view, hovering silently just 10 feet away. It doesn't have a camera, it has a directional microphone. You remember how they tracked the ghost through 32 near misses, waiting for the one moment he was truly alone. You realize you've been talking to yourself, breathing too loud, giving away your stress levels. Every gasp for air is a data point for their AI. You aren't just being hunted, you are being analyzed for the perfect moment of termination. Suddenly, a red laser dot appears on the tip of your boot. It doesn't move. It's a fixed marker, a sign that the satellite link has locked on. You remember the 13 shots fired at Fakhrizadeh, so precise his wife sitting 10 inches away wasn't even touched. In the deadliest zone, there is no collateral damage, there is only the target. And right now, the target is the frantic American agent trapped on a rooftop with nowhere left to run. You roll away from the red laser dot, crashing through a heavy service door into a luxury penthouse. The room is silent, filled with expensive art and high-end tech. You remember the 2010 Dubai mission, how Mossad agents infiltrated the most secure hotels using nothing but tennis rackets and fake mustaches. You realize this safe room is just another stage. The smart fridge, the voice-activated lights, the Wi-Fi router, they aren't amenities. They are the same Trojan horses Mossad used to hack the Iranian nuclear facility at Natanz. You see a sleek black laptop open on the desk. A file is flashing, exit strategy. For a second, you think Langley has finally broken through. But then you remember Project Diamond, how Mossad spent years building a fake relationship with a target just to steal a single MiG-21. This isn't your exit, it's a honey trap. They want you to touch that keyboard, to link your biometric signature to their server, just like they did to the Ghost before his final ride in Damascus. A shadow moves across the balcony. It's a man in a delivery uniform, carrying a small box. He doesn't look like an assassin, but you know Mossad's Kidon unit thrives on being ordinary. You recall the Project Pager architect's philosophy. The best weapon is the one the enemy carries themselves. You look at the box in his hand. It's the exact size of the shape charge explosive that took out the spare tire of Mugnia's SUV. You back away toward the window, but the glass doesn't reflect your image. It's smart glass, the kind that can be turned opaque or transparent with a single remote click. You realize you are standing in a digital fishbowl. Mossad isn't just watching you from the outside. They have turned the very room you're standing in into a weapon. The air feels thin. You aren't an agent anymore. You are the final act in a play that's been running since 1948. You burst through the balcony glass, sliding down a fire escape into a dense vertical garden. The scent of damp earth and jasmine hits you, but it's a distraction. You remember Project Diamond, how Mossad used a single drop of information to bait an Iraqi pilot into stealing a MiG-21. This garden isn't a refuge, it's a sensory trap. You notice the irrigation pipes aren't just carrying water, they are lined with fiber optic sensors that track the vibration of your footsteps. In this city, even the ground tells on you. Your HUD suddenly flickers with a grainy video from 2008. It's the street in Damascus where the ghost Imad Mugnia took his final breath. It's a psychological signature. Mossad is syncing your current heartbeat to the exact frequency they used to monitor him before the blast. They aren't just hunting your body, they are hacking your nervous system. You realize that your secure American heartbeat monitor is now a beacon for their satellite-linked machine guns. A street cleaner passes by, his broom rhythmically hitting the pavement. Click, click, click. It's the same compelling ringtone frequency used in the 2024 pager operation to make targets look at their devices right before detonation. Your hand instinctively reaches for your pocket, but you freeze. You remember the 16,000 walkie-talkies sold through a fake Hungarian company, how Mossad waited a decade for the perfect click. Every sound in this deadliest zone is a countdown. You see a reflection in a shop window, a man in a plain gray suit standing perfectly still across the street. He's not reaching for a gun, he's holding a small black remote. You recall the silent strike on the Osirak reactor, how the world didn't know the mission had started until it was over. You realize that the ghost didn't die because he was caught, he died because he thought he was safe for 1 second. And in the deadliest zone, 1 second is all Mossad needs to delete you from history. You break into a sprint, abandoning the garden for a crowded underground metro station. The air is thick with the smell of ozone and damp concrete. You think you found a dead zone where the drones can't follow, but then you remember the 2010 Dubai operation. Mossad didn't just use cameras, they used a digital ghost team to track every credit card swipe and key card entry in real time. You look at the turnstile. It's not a gate, it's a biometric trap. Your HUD glasses suddenly scream with a new alert, system compromised. A file opens showing a 10-year-old shipping manifest from a shell company in Budapest. It's the Project Pager logs. You see your own name listed as the final recipient of a secure communication device. You realize the CIA didn't give you this equipment. Mossad did, through a triple-layered front company a decade ago. They didn't just find you today, they've been carrying your death warrant in their pockets for 10 years. You see a group of young IDF soldiers on leave, huddled together and laughing. One of them pulls out a rugged Japanese-brand walkie-talkie to check the time. Your heart stops. It's the exact model that turned into a handheld bomb in Lebanon.
You realize the deadliest zone isn't about who is attacking you. It's about the fact that everything around you, even the tools of your allies, has been pre-rigged by an agency that never forgets a face. A train pulls into the station with a screeching metallic wail. You move toward the open doors, but the reflection in the window shows a man standing right behind you. He's wearing a tennis outfit and carrying a racket bag, the same Dubai signature from the Al Mabou hit. He doesn't draw a weapon, he just nods. You remember the silent exorcism of the ghost in Damascus. They don't need you to shoot you, they just need you to step onto that train.
The train doors hiss open, but you don't step inside. You remember the Project Pager architect's final rule. The trap is only sprung when the target feels they've escaped. You turn back toward the station exit, but the biometric scanners on the ceiling turn a solid, pulsing red. You're no longer a U.S. agent. You've been digitally reclassified as a ghost by the same Mossad AI that tracked Mohsen Fakhrizade's convoy across the Iranian desert. You reach for the heavy emergency exit door, but your HUD glasses suddenly display a single image from 1960. Adolf Eichmann sitting in an Israeli courtroom. It's the signature of accountability. Mossad is telling you that no matter how far you run or how many borders you cross, their reach is infinite. You realize your secure extraction team isn't coming. They were compromised the moment they used the same Hungarian-made communication gear that Mossad spent a decade rigging for this exact second. A man in a plain gray suit stands at the top of the stairs, holding a small black remote, the same one you saw in the shop window. He doesn't look like an assassin, he looks like a clerk, but you know this is the Kidan way, the silent strike that nobody sees until the world turns into white light. You remember the 2008 blast in Damascus. The ghost didn't even hear the explosion that ended his 20-year run. In the deadliest zone, the end doesn't come with a bang, it comes with a click. The man presses the button. Your pocket vibrates. The high-pitched, compelling ringtone of your pager screams one last time. You look down at the screen, and for a split second you see the word, terminated. You realize now that you were never the hunter. You were just a data point being erased from a digital map. The screen fades to black. The deadliest zone has claimed its final ghost. Mission complete. The ghost is exorcised.